Trust is like oxygen for relationships. You only notice it when it's gone, and by then, it's often too late. In the depths of every painful betrayal lies a truth we all wish we had seen earlier. Those subtle signs, those quiet whispers of warning, those gut feelings we pushed aside, they were trying to tell us something. Today, I'm sharing profound wisdom that transcends time, wisdom that could have saved countless hearts from being shattered. These aren't just random signs or generic advice you've heard before. These are deeply rooted patterns of behavior that ancient spiritual texts and modern psychology both recognize as red flags. You're about to discover 6 critical signs that heaven itself warns us about, signs so powerful that they're mentioned in sacred texts across cultures. Signs that, once you understand them, will forever change how you view the people around you. But here's what makes this different. We're not just going to list these signs, we're going to uncover why they matter at a soul level. Why these particular behaviors are so destructive that they're specifically warned against in spiritual teachings. This isn't about becoming paranoid or distrustful. It's about developing the wisdom to protect your heart while keeping it open to genuine connections. It's about understanding the difference between skepticism and discernment. In the next few minutes, you'll learn to spot these signs before they cost you your peace, your relationships, or even your life savings. You'll understand why certain people in your life might have felt off, even when you couldn't explain why. Most importantly, you'll gain insight into why these behaviors are considered spiritual warnings, not just practical red flags. This knowledge isn't just protective, it's transformative. Stay with me, because the first sign is something you probably encounter every single day, without realizing its deeper significance. Nothing reveals truth quite like the gap between promises and actions. Walking through life, we encounter countless people whose words flow like honey, sweet, smooth, and incredibly appealing. They speak of loyalty, commitment, and grand intentions, but in their wake lies a trail of broken promises and disappointed hearts. Sacred wisdom points to a profound truth. Integrity isn't measured in moments of grandeur, but in daily choices that no one else sees. When someone consistently shows a pattern of saying one thing while doing another, they're not just being inconsistent, they're revealing something far deeper about their character. It starts small. Maybe they promised to help with a project but had a convenient excuse when the time came. Perhaps they spoke about their dedication to honesty while telling small lies to others. These moments might seem insignificant, but they're actually glimpses into something much more significant. In ancient teachings, this disconnect between words and actions is considered one of humanity's most serious spiritual flaws. It's not just about reliability, it strikes at core of what makes relationships sacred. Each broken promise, each unfulfilled commitment chips away at trust's foundation. Watch closely how people handle small commitments. Do they follow through on minor promises? Are their daily actions aligned with their proclaimed values? These seemingly insignificant moments reveal more about character than any grand gesture ever could. Most telling is how they react when confronted with this disconnect. True integrity acknowledges gaps between intentions and actions, seeking to bridge them. But those who cannot be trusted will deflect, justify, or minimize these inconsistencies. This pattern extends beyond personal relationships into every aspect of life. In business, in friendship, in family, actions always speak with deafening clarity. Words may paint beautiful pictures of intention, but actions reveal reality's true colors. This misalignment isn't just about practical reliability, it reflects a deeper spiritual discord. When words and actions dance to different rhythms, they create disharmony that ripples through all relationships touched by that person's presence. Truth manipulation is an art mastered by those who walk in shadows. Most dangerous isn't outright lies, those are too obvious, too easily spotted. Instead, watch for masters of subtle distortion, those who bend reality just enough to serve their purposes while maintaining plausible deniability. These individuals possess an uncanny ability to weave half-truths into compelling narratives. They'll share facts, but carefully curated ones stripped of crucial context. Like a skilled illusionist, they direct attention to what supports their story while quietly obscuring anything that might challenge it. What makes this behavior particularly insidious is its sophistication. When questioned, they can point to specific truths within their statements. Yet somehow, piece by piece, they construct a false reality around those who trust them. Each statement might hold a grain of truth, yet combined they paint a deliberately misleading picture. Spiritual wisdom teaches us that truth isn't merely about avoiding lies, it's about embracing reality in its complete form. Half-truths are often more dangerous than outright deception because they wear truth's clothing while serving falsehood's purpose. They create confusion where clarity should exist. Pay close attention to how someone handles uncomfortable truths. Do they acknowledge facts that don't favor them? Or do they expertly shift focus, reframe situations, and subtly alter narratives until reality becomes unrecognizable? Masters of manipulation excel at making others question their own perceptions and memories. Watch for patterns in how they share information. Do stories change slightly depending on audience? Do they omit crucial details when it serves them? Most revealing is how they react when presented with evidence that contradicts their narrative. Truthful souls seek understanding. Manipulators seek control over the narrative. This manipulation often extends beyond words into actions. They might orchestrate situations that support their version of events, creating artificial evidence for their distorted reality. Over time, this web of half-truths and calculated omissions can trap others in a maze of confusion and self-doubt. Divine wisdom warns specifically about those who twist truth while maintaining an appearance of honesty. It's recognized as one of humanity's most destructive spiritual afflictions. Actions toward those who can offer nothing in return reveal everything about character. Watch closely how someone treats people they perceive as beneath them, service staff, subordinates, or those struggling through hard times. These moments strip away social masks, revealing raw character underneath. Most revealing isn't behavior during important meetings or social gatherings. It's those fleeting interactions when they think no one significant is watching. A person might charm executives in boardrooms while snapping at waitstaff during lunch. They'll showcase generosity when others are looking, but ignore those in need when no recognition is offered. Sacred teachings emphasize this profound truth. Genuine character manifests in how we treat those who can neither help nor harm us. It's easy to be kind when kindness might be rewarded. True nobility of spirit shows in moments when nothing can be gained except doing what's right. Watch for those who maintain different personas based on perceived status. Notice who becomes charming around authority figures but dismissive toward others. Particularly telling are moments of stress or inconvenience. Does their courtesy vanish when plans go awry? Do they blame those with least power to defend themselves? Hidden darkness often lurks in small cruelties, cutting remarks disguised as jokes, subtle put-downs masked as concern, or deliberate exclusion covered by plausible excuses. These behaviors might seem minor in isolation, but they form a pattern that reveals deeper spiritual poverty. Most significant is their response when called out on such behavior. Do they reflect and seek to improve, or do they dismiss concerns, claiming others are too sensitive or failing to understand their humor? True integrity acknowledges impact over intent. Particularly revealing is their behavior toward those experiencing hardship. Do they offer genuine support, or do they subtly distance themselves, treating struggle as contagious? Watch how they speak about absent friends facing difficulties. It often reveals how they'll speak about you in your absence. This pattern extends beyond individual interactions into broader life approaches. Those who consistently devalue others often mask deep spiritual insecurity, attempting to elevate themselves by diminishing those around them. Life's greatest revealer lies in how someone handles their mistakes. Watch those who dance through life never accepting responsibility, masters of deflection who transform every error into someone else's fault. These individuals craft an alternate reality where they're perpetually innocent, eternally wronged by a world conspiring against them. Most fascinating isn't their ability to avoid blame, it's their artistic skill in reconstructing events. Every story becomes a masterpiece where they emerge as victims, no matter their role in creating chaos. They'll weave elaborate tales explaining why missed deadlines weren't their fault, why broken promises had external causes, why their actions were justified by others' supposed provocations. Sacred wisdom speaks directly about this pattern. Those who cannot own their mistakes remain trapped in spiritual infancy. Growth requires acknowledging our shadows, yet these individuals invest enormous energy in maintaining their spotless self-image. They'd rather build complex narratives than face simple truths about themselves. Watch closely when things go wrong. Notice who immediately launches into explanations before anyone asks for them. Observe who spends more energy defending their innocence than fixing problems they've created. Most telling are their stories about past relationships, jobs, or failures. Somehow they're never even partially responsible for negative outcomes. Beyond merely avoiding blame, these individuals often position themselves as victims. Every criticism becomes an attack, every consequence becomes persecution. They'll describe elaborate conspiracies against them rather than acknowledge their own role in creating difficulties. This victim mentality serves as both shield and sword, protecting them from responsibility while weaponizing others' sympathy. Pay attention to their language patterns. Everything happens to them, never because of them. They're constantly subjected to others' actions, but never active participants in creating their circumstances. When confronted with evidence of their mistakes, they'll shift focus to others' reactions rather than addressing their own behavior. Most revealing is their response to others' accountability. While never accepting responsibility themselves, they're often harshly judgmental of others' mistakes. They demand understanding for their own failings while showing none for others. This double standard exposes a profound spiritual immaturity. Secrets flow like currency in hands that can't be trusted. Watch closely those who collect confidences only to trade them later, wrapped in phrases like, "I shouldn't tell you this," but, or "just between us." These individuals treat private information as social capital, revealing others' vulnerabilities while maintaining an appearance of caring concern. Most dangerous aren't those who openly spread rumors. They're easily identified and avoided. Instead, beware those who share secrets under guise of seeking advice or expressing worry. They masterfully transform others' private struggles into compelling entertainment, all while maintaining plausible deniability about their true intentions. Sacred writings warn specifically about those who whisper others' stories, recognizing gossip as spiritual poison that corrupts both speaker and listener. When someone readily shares others' private matters, they reveal not just their untrustworthiness, but their fundamental misunderstanding of human dignity. Notice patterns in how they handle confidential information. Do they frequently preface conversations with disclaimers about discretion? Do they share detailed accounts of others' personal struggles? Most revealing is how they frame these disclosures, often positioning themselves as reluctant truth-tellers or concerned friends merely seeking guidance. Beyond mere gossip lies deeper betrayal, breaking confidences while maintaining appearance of loyalty. These individuals might counsel someone through difficulties, then share intimate details with others, justifying their disclosure as necessary or helpful. They become repositories of secrets, only to strategically leak information when it serves their purposes. Pay attention to how they discuss absent friends or colleagues. If they readily share private details about others with you, rest assured they're sharing your private matters with others. Notice how they react when asked to keep information confidential. Do they seem excited by exclusive knowledge? Do they hint at knowing more than they can say? Most significant isn't just what they share, but how they share it. Watch for those who seem energized by revealing others' secrets. who lean in closer when sharing private information, who seem to derive satisfaction from being information gatekeepers. Their behavior reveals a fundamental misunderstanding of trust's sacred nature. Pride walks hand in hand with destruction, marking every step of those who cannot bow their heads. Watch individuals who stand eternally blameless in their own eyes, whose self-image remains unmarred by reality's countless corrections. Such pride isn't mere confidence, it's a fortress built to protect a fragile ego from truth's gentle touch. Most revealing isn't obvious boasting. That's too easily spotted. Instead, notice subtle ways they position themselves above others. Every story becomes a showcase of their wisdom, every conversation turns toward their achievements, every group discussion must feature their superior insight. They don't just seek attention, they demand admiration. Sacred wisdom identifies pride as humanity's deadliest spiritual flaw, not because it's worst, but because it prevents recognition of all other flaws. Those caught in pride's grip cannot grow because growth requires acknowledging imperfection. They become trapped in cycles of self-deception, building elaborate justifications for their actions rather than facing simple truths. Watch closely how they handle correction or criticism. Even gentle suggestions for improvement trigger defensive responses. They might smile and nod, but their words reveal deeper resistance. That's not exactly what happened, or you don't fully grasp situation. Every mistake becomes reframed as someone else's misunderstanding. Beyond mere defensiveness lies constant self-elevation. Stories always cast them as heroes, never supporting characters. Achievements become exaggerated, failures minimized or blamed on others. Most telling is their reaction to others' successes. They'll find subtle ways to diminish accomplishments that don't center them. Pay attention to patterns in their relationships. Do people around them feel uplifted or diminished? Pride creates emotional vacuum, sucking energy from rooms as others strain to maintain artificial harmony. Notice who seems exhausted after interacting with them. Pride drains those forced to orbit its gravitational pull. Most dangerous aspect of pride isn't its obvious manifestations, but its subtle corruption of character. It transforms potential wisdom into perceived superiority, possible connections into power plays, opportunities for growth into threats against self-image. Pride doesn't just precede falls, it ensures them by blinding its victims to approaching edges. Truth's power lies not in judgment, but in illumination. These 6 signs we've explored today, misaligned words and actions, truth manipulation, treatment of others, blame shifting, secret betrayal, and pride, they're not weapons for condemning others. They're beacons of wisdom, lighting paths toward better discernment and deeper understanding. Sacred teachings reveal these patterns not to breed suspicion, but to cultivate wisdom. Each sign serves as a mirror, reflecting not just others' behavior, but challenging us to examine our own hearts. For in recognizing these patterns in others, we often discover shadows of them within ourselves. When we spot someone whose words dance to different rhythms than their actions, our task isn't to condemn but to learn. These moments teach invaluable lessons about trust's true nature. They remind us that genuine character isn't built on grand promises, but on countless small choices made when no one's watching. Manipulation of truth, that subtle art of bending reality, teaches us to value complete honesty, not just in others, but in ourselves. It challenges us to examine how we present our own stories, reminding us that integrity requires embracing both comfortable and uncomfortable truths. Through observing how others treat those they deem beneath them, we learn about genuine kindness's nature. These observations should inspire us to examine our own behavior. Do we maintain consistent kindness regardless of what others can offer us? True character shines brightest in how we treat those who can do nothing for us. Watching others dodge responsibility reminds us of accountability's sacred importance. It teaches us that growth and trust can only flourish in soil enriched by honest self-reflection. When we witness blame shifting, it should strengthen our own commitment to owning our mistakes and learning from them. Those who trade in secrets and gossip show us trust's precious nature. Their behavior reminds us that confidences aren't currency to be traded, but sacred trusts to be honored. It challenges us to examine our own speech. Do we build others up or tear them down when they're not present? Pride's destructive pattern serves as perhaps our greatest teacher. It shows us how self-elevation ultimately leads to isolation. In witnessing pride's blindness in others, we're called to cultivate humility in ourselves, not as weakness, but as strength that allows for growth and genuine connection. These signs aren't meant to wall us off from others, but to guide us toward wiser, more discerning relationships. They teach us to balance openness with wisdom, trust with discernment, forgiveness with boundaries. Most importantly, they remind us that everyone, including ourselves, is on a journey of growth and learning. Moving forward, carry these insights not as weapons but as tools for building better relationships. Use them to cultivate deeper understanding, foster genuine connections, and create spaces where trust can flourish. Remember that identifying these patterns isn't about avoiding all risk, it's about engaging wisely with others while protecting your heart's precious capacity for trust. If this wisdom has illuminated your path today, spread light further by sharing this video with others who might benefit from these insights. Every like helps this message reach more people seeking guidance in building trustworthy relationships. Subscribe to join our community dedicated to exploring ancient wisdom's application in modern life. Most importantly, take these teachings to heart not just as guidelines for judging others, but as invitations for personal growth. For in learning to recognize what we shouldn't trust in others, we often discover what we need to strengthen within ourselves. May this knowledge serve as both protection and inspiration, guiding you toward relationships built on genuine trust, mutual respect, and authentic connection. Together, we can create a world where trust flourishes not through blind faith, but through wise discernment and genuine character. Share this video with someone whose heart you want to protect. Hit that subscribe button to continue exploring wisdom that transforms lives. Until next time, walk wisely, trust carefully, and keep your heart both open and protected.